Hey everybody, welcome once again to another Cafe con Giorgio. This is a cafe with two F's, right? You know, chin, love your mug, your cat purple mug. This is coffee with espresso. I have here with me Gelato Extraordinaire, Super Chef, number one. Let me say this: the number one American-born Gelato Chef in America, right? Mike Guerriero, owner and chef behind Gelati by Mike. And not only he is a person that I know for a long time, and I seen grow from little kid, washing buckets in an ice cream shop to a superstar, world-renowned gelato chef. But he is an amazing businessman and a leader in the community. And I'm just glad that you're giving me these few times. I know you're going through a lot of shit right now with the coronavirus. And thank you for being here and for letting us, interview you.
No problem. No problem. So, yeah, I just want to say to everyone that we're open and we're getting through it, and we have to find the good in what's going on. And so, as bad as business may be from where it should be, one thing we hope is that this feeling of community that everyone has shown to us, and all these wonderful sayings that people or messages people are sending us via email, Facebook, people are taping notes to their door. Kids are making little collages, saying thank you for the ice cream and putting it at the front of their door. So, it's just been a really magical time to be in business. And in the midst of such tragedy, it's just amazing to see all these, bright spots in here. But I do have to go back and correct you because I am the number one American-born chef in the world, not just North America. So, we got to make sure that America, is on the map because we have some great gelato here. Not a lot of people know what it is. And we have some of the best in the world here. So we want people to know that they don't have to go to Rome, your hometown, to get good gelato. They can just come up to Montclair or Caldwell and then get some of the best in the world.
And actually, there was my argument whenever I had a little bit more hands on into these in the business, the gelato business, right? There was always my argument. You don't have to be in Italy to have the best gelato in the world, and you've proven it. And I am 100% that when all this shit is done, and next year you go and compete for the World Masters, you will win, and you bring the trophy home. Because I'm not gonna lie, you have some of the best gelato that I've ever had.
Thank you for that. And it's no secret. I mean, gelato in Italy has a great tradition, but I think one of the things that we overlook is that the United States is the only country in the world that has a surplus of butter fat, right? So in other countries, they take the milk from the cow, the butter fat becomes Parmigiano Reggiano or Pecorino Romano. They use it for more important things, right? So they're starting off with, let's say, a skim milk or a lower fat milk. So when you're able to blend the two cultures, right? We have a really great ice cream culture here in the United States. We have really good cream. We have really good grass-fed dairies. We actually buy our dairy from Upstate Farms, which is a small family cooperative in upstate New York. It comes to us fresh, never frozen. And in Italy, you deal with, Parmalat milk, shelf-stable milk. A lot of the milk comes maybe even powdered from Turkey and stuff like that. So it's no knock against Italy, but it's to say that if we can take these really good hazelnuts from Piemonte, we can take these really good pistachios from Sicily. You can put them together with some of the best dairy in the world and make a good product. And as a chef, you're not going to sit there and limit your art by what you can have, right? You can't tell an artist, okay, you can paint a picture, but only use greens and blues, right? You have to be able to use the whole palette. And so that's why we're so lucky here in the United States. The nuts and the pistachios, that all travels great here. You can preserve it. You can cook it down. The dairy is something that you can't mimic. Even when I'm out in Italy and I make gelato, which I did in January when we went there to be awarded, it's just not the same, and it's not,
You're right.
It's not a knock. It's just, let's bring together the best parts of both cultures and make something that's really great. And that's why people, love our product and they follow us. And, we try to break out of that mold. I'm come from an Italian family like you do, so we have our traditions and we're so set in our ways. But when you're able to think about things differently and break the mold, that's why we've had such success at such a, I'm one of the youngest gelato chefs. I think I'm the only chef under 30 in the top 15 or the top 20. And that's why I'm able to do it, because there are no rules for me and I'm starting basically from scratch. So, I mean, I remember the first videos that I ever saw. I was just bringing this up the other day because I did an episode with Tony Manja. I said one of the first videos I saw on YouTube of people making gelato was of Giorgio, and you took the video of him in Sotto Zero. And then from that point on, you saw Pre-Gel releasing videos, and that's how I learned how to make gelato the authentic way, right? I learned by YouTube videos. So, and
actually, that's one of the things that I tried to do when we had Sotto Zero. I realized that the most important ingredient was the milk, right? And at the beginning, we were importing actually even the milk from Italy, powder, and we were creating our own base, from scratch from Italy. It didn't make sense, so I made it possible for a lot of these smaller shops to start developing and creating and working with the small farms locally. I mean, I used to go to Pennsylvania to become a milk, not upstate New York, but I felt that if Italian food can be made in America with ingredients that are not coming from Italy, then gelato can be done in America with ingredients that are not coming from Italy, right? And use the fresh fruits and use even the nuts from Italy. And I don't know if you remember back in the day, I actually started working with a company like Westcott, which is one of the largest, nut distributors here in America. And they even produce nuts, locally here, in the United States, North America, and South America. We don't need to bring the stuff from Italy to make the best gelato, right? But you're shown once again that with a little bit of creativity and a lot of passion, you can do whatever in this country, and you're proven that you don't have to be Italian to make the best gelato.
No, and I am Italian, but
Italian American.
I am American, Italian American, but. And the thing you see now is, company we do business with a lot, Pre-Gel, they have a subsidiary here in America. They're making gelato base and gelato ingredients here in America. They have a big $19 million facility that they're building out in North Carolina, and they're going to put a gelato museum there. It's going to be the biggest gelato museum in the world. And, they're actually looking to start sourcing ingredients here and sending them back to Italy. So now we're taking a step in a different direction. When I was just there in Italy, some of the big flavors are butter pecan. We take it for granted because we're Americans, but pecans are native to North America. You talk about the Meyer lemon from Florida. You talk about the key lime from Florida. You talk about the California pistachio. And so there is
How about the blueberry? How about the blueberry from New Jersey? I mean, your number one flavor.
Yeah. Then the blueberry from New Jersey. Actually, 90% of all the blueberries in the world were cultivated by a woman named Elizabeth White here in New Jersey. So, we play a big part in the global scheme. And a lot of our dishes as Americans are thought of as implants, like taco comes from Mexico and macaroni and cheese is a version of an Italian dish and so on and so forth. But, we are innovators in our own right, and we have, great ingredients in our own right, and we have passion, and some of these trends only exist because of the American market, right? So, tacos are a staple in Mexico, but you don't see a lot of taco restaurants. The taco restaurant was invented because of Americans, and, we have to kind of take to that. But at the same time, I get a lot of resistance because, when I go to these shows, these are Italian men that could be my grandfather. And, I shut my mouth. I try not to be the over exuberant American that I might be in front of the judges, because I have a lot of respect for what these guys do. And, I want them to take us seriously. And you can't do that by playing into that American stereotype. So it's been great. It's been great to see the love. And it's even better when some of these chefs start asking me questions like, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And that's how you know that we've made it onto the stage. So we're really happy about it. And we're continuing to kind of push that envelope even through.
And again, I really appreciate, by following you, I really appreciate that you're doing, what I had attempted to do, you just took it to the next level, and I remember when we first launched our gelato line in the Whole Foods, first in supermarkets and then Whole Foods, right? People thought that I was crazy doing flavors that were not Italian, right? They're like, how are you going to make gelato that is not Italian, man? How are you going to do mascarpone with fucking cognac figs? I'm like, dude, trust me, it will sell, and I just went completely off the rail, right? And if you see today, the gelatos that are being made, even in supermarkets, are not your traditional pistachio, nocciola, cioccolata, vanilla. It's all these like developed flavors to again cater to the markets and the community. And again, we're a global community, right? It's not just about being gelato, whatever. So so you guys are still open. Of course, the store is not open like it used to be with the lines outside the door for hours. You're doing pickup only, right, and delivery.
Yeah, we're doing pickup and delivery, and there's a new version of the line out the door. Our new version is our phone system crashed.
People can order online, right? This site, gelatitogo.com.
So you can order at www.gelatitogo.com. We have 90% of our menu. There's a few different things that are harder for us to inventory, but for right now we have the majority of the things that we want on there. It's really simple and easy. You go on, you place an order, you pick if you want to do pickup, you pick your location, whatever one is closer to you. If you do delivery,
how many locations do you have?
We have 2 locations in Essex County, Montclair and Caldwell, and then we also have one in Morris County in Randolph. Randolph is not doing its own delivery. They're doing it through DoorDash, and then the other 2 locations are doing it just because it's a different geographic area. There's more houses in the area. But we have almost everything online, and it's been, it's actually been a blessing to have to develop this system, because the issue that we have in the summertime is everybody wants to come right after dinner in this 2-hour period. So even though you're open for 14, 16 hours a day, it's just a lot of volume. And now we're kind of seeing it a bottleneck too, because everybody starts panicking around the 8 o'clock hour. So between 6:30 and 8, everyone's placing their orders. But we think in the future, once we get out of this, to be able to have the ability for people to place an order in advance, walk up to a walk-up window, which we had installed
like a Starbucks pickup to go,
like a Starbucks pickup to go. And Square, who we've been with for a while, we're part of their beta program, so they released this new tool to us. So basically, overnight, we have the same power that Starbucks has as far as having an online apparatus to place orders. It's really great. It's integrated into our POS system. I get an email on my phone, and it's honestly changed the way that we've done business to the point where we're starting to add new features that maybe we've never added in the past. And so, like next week, we've been talking about this for a while, but we wanted to always do a cake kit. And because a lot of kids love watching Bree's videos that she puts up, my wife, and she decorates these cakes, and I always get customers and people saying, I ordered that cake because I saw Bree make it on camera. So now we want to give them this basically whited out cake that comes in a box with a couple different piping bags and some sprinkles, and let the kids kind of go crazy. And they can either make a special cake for their mom or dad, or they can make it for themselves and kind of have an activity to do during this time. But I think we're starting to see that shift a little bit. A couple weeks ago, a small cone was my most popular item. Today, a pint of ice cream to share with the family is better. It's more economical for the customer. It's easier for us to do. So, we got to take the good and the bad. I mean, ever since, other tragedies that happened in American history, it's changed the way that we've done business. So rather than be hesitant to change, we've changed every single week. Every day we've changed our products, our layout, and things we've done. And we're getting better at it now in week 3.
Actually, it's funny because, again, a lot of other people today would have shut down, especially in an operation like yours, where you're saying it's ice cream. Like, what the fuck is one ice cream? It's not like, like an Italian restaurant or a pizzeria or whatever, right? And actually, I've seen a lot of other ice cream shops around the area just close, right? Whereas, you have adapted, overcome. Of course, volume is not the same. You retain the majority of your employees. I saw that you actually are paying them, not only their pay, but you're giving them hazardous pay, which is fucking insane. Like, but again, this shows your abilities as a leader, and how to adapt during these tough times. And that, Mike, I always told you that it's one of the few trades that not many people do. Entrepreneurs don't have that trait, and that's what makes you a much stronger leader and business person. And you're going to overcome. I know you're going to be super successful, and this is just the beginning of anything that you do, but I'm very grateful to have you in my life, which then brings me to this next thing. Through all this shit, you seeing your business go down, having to not especially during this time, because it's actually the busy time, right? This is when the time starts, not being able to do a lot of things that you're probably planning to do. And you're doing something that nobody else, in the community is doing. It's giving back. Like, instead of actually cutting down and taking more for yourself and worrying about yourself today, you are giving back. I think I read on Facebook, I think, or somewhere, that you're not taking a salary for you and Bree, and you're using that money to buy uh, products and milk for the community. Like, tell me a little bit about that.
So, I mean, we're no stranger to doing fundraisers and different things, and I get myself in trouble a lot because I overextend myself, and by the time Bree and Chris and my management actually find out to something that I agreed to, they already have somebody waiting at the door to pick it up, right? So, we in the past we've done. A dinner for the federal workers when we had the budget issue
Yep.
a year ago. We've giving out different ice creams for fundraisers. We did stuff at the addiction walk for Eva's Village downtown Paterson. There's always different things that we
You
do
bought a
throughout the
car for
year.
your manager that was left without a car. I remember that.
Yeah, we bought a car for our manager. I mean, I have basically ever since me and Bree bought this house that you helped us get. We've used the second floor to house 4 or 5 of our different employees. I come from absolutely nothing, and I know that when I was given a chance, and I said it the other day. I got a phone. I was down on my luck. I lost my job working in an ice cream shop in 2014, and a couple of angels, including you, were one of them that called me and said, "Hey, we heard you're down on your luck, and we want to give you an opportunity." And ever since I got that opportunity, we've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on giving back to the community because I knew how important it was to find the next Mike out there, to find a kid that's
Yep.
down on their luck, to find somebody that just needs a chance. And so when this whole thing kind of happened, we said to ourselves, what we do during this time is going to define our brand for the next 20, 30 years. We have to send a message to our employees of how we're going to take care of them. We have to send a message to our community how we're going to take care of them, because people are going to remember. We talk about what our favorite song is or what our favorite food is. It's not because the song is the greatest song in the world. It's not because that dish is the greatest dish in the world. It's about the memories that bring us back to it. And people are going to
Absolutely.
remember that pint of ice cream that I brought to their door frantically at 8:30 at night. And, they missed their daughter's birthday party because of everything going on. And we saved the day. Or the customer that the bakery closed down, they already paid for $100 cake. And we did a cake and we delivered it within 24 hours. So we always thought that, this is going to be our moment to define who we're going to be for the rest of our lives. And when we saw that our dairy companies were going to possibly lay off some of the drivers, they were already expecting a backup because everybody had just hired their drivers for the ice cream season,
For the
right?
season,
So
right?
once we saw that was gonna hurt them, we said, let's leave the dairy orders the same, let's leave the egg orders the same, let's just give away everything we can't use in a week. So it's not that it's expired or bad, but we need to make room for the next order next week because we're going to keep the same amount every week. And we had, right before this boiled down, we had a customer that sent me a note on Uber Eats, a note of distress that said, I lost my infant within the last week or so. I'm down on my luck. I can't even bury my child because of everything going on. I just really need toilet paper. And it was as simple as a human need that needed toilet paper and paper towels. And Bree and I saw the letter and we read it, and we both sat here in my living room. We cried. I mean, you can't believe that ice cream or gelato, or in the course of doing business, that this is going to be something that you're going to deal with. And this is going to be somebody reaching out to you for help. But I recognize two things. Number one, there are people out there that really do need help and maybe don't want to speak out about it. So it was easy to go on Uber Eats and, write us that note. And the second thing that I noticed was, well, this customer felt like they were in good hands sharing this with us. They wanted
Right.
help. They knew that I would help them. And so if I am that person and people are looking at me like that, I need to be able to do more for them. So we immediately said, let's increase the amount of milk that we're doing. Let's try to make sure that we give enough to people. So at first we were selling it at cost, at wholesale, because people couldn't get it. Then we said, people are not going to, if they need it, they're not going to ask. Let's just give it for free. Then it got to the point where we said, now that our delivery system is picking up, how can we get this milk out to people more efficiently? So we connected with Anne at Tony's Kitchen in Montclair, and we started donating 100 pieces a week to her over the last a couple of weeks. We've also,
Wow.
Breanna and I have been waking up early on Saturdays, and we've been giving the vans and picking up groceries and delivering it to seniors in the area, along with the Kiwanis in Montclair. It's a group effort between a bunch of different people. And beginning this week, we have linked up with the mutual aid group here in Paterson. Zelly Thomas and Sharif Bug and a bunch of people, Justin Rucker, they're going around and they're giving out meals to seniors. And so this week I'm going to give them about 30 pieces of milk, 30 cartons of eggs, just to start for this week. We're hoping to increase it to up to 100 for next week. We're going to be sending over 100 and something pieces to Tony's Kitchen. We're going to be sending close to 40 or 50 pieces to Marion Manor in Caldwell, in the Caldwell Food Pantry. So we're covering not only our hometown where we live, but we're covering the areas that we do
So
business
you guys are doing all this shit, even though, your business is down, even though, you have less employees, even though a lot of people are, so you're doing all this shit from your pocket because you're donating. Is there any way that we can maybe help you reach more people? And, I mean, you're doing a great job in doing it, by yourself. Is there any way that we can reach out and actually help you help more people and do this?
So there's a couple different ways that you can do it. Number one, we know that money's tight. And so for families that can't afford to donate, we just ask you if you can treat your family to ice cream once a week. That helps us. It helps us stay operational because we need to be here in order to take donations, in order to give donations, et cetera, et cetera. If you are a little bit well off and you are able to not maybe lose your job during this time or whatever, if you want to go to our website, www.gelatitogo.com. At the top, it will show you to make a donation. Every $2 that you donate will give a senior a half a gallon of milk for that week. Every $5 you donate, they'll get a half a gallon of milk and a dozen eggs. And then what we're going to doing is we're matching that, right? So you donated a half gallon of milk, we donate a half gallon of milk in addition to the donation that we're already doing. We're just trying to figure out different ways that people can help us out. But we've had even companies reach out to us and just, write us checks and mail it. And what we're doing is we're including a note every week with the donation. These are the families that donated because we want to be 100% transparent. There's so many people
That's amazing.
doing, things that are crazy, but we wanted to have that personal note of this family went out of their way. They donated to you. They helped us get the milk. We sent it over to you guys. And, there's been, even Bree's like, Bree said, I'm so sad that I can't hug some of these people because some of these seniors just got, God bless. I wish I can hug you when this is all over. I want to come outside and just thank you. You've been here every week, delivering stuff to us, and they just are so appreciative. And like I said, you help a customer, customers for the last 20 years have heard this saying over and over again, the customer's always right. And
Right.
so, when they come into the shop, they feel like if I gave you $1, now I'm your boss, and that's the end of it. And so sometimes you lose sight of that human interaction, and people forget that we're human beings at the end of the day, and that we're here to serve them, and that's all we want to do. We want them to be happy, and when things are not going the right way, it upsets us just as much as it upsets them. And so these customers now, they've really turn that corner to see what we're doing, and it's just been really, really amazing experience. So we hope this is something that people continue to do. We hope that we continue to feed seniors. After this point, we hope more people in groups start working together and realizing, hey, if we all put $2 together, we can buy 100 meals and we can feed 100 people, because it doesn't save the world, but you see that one group inspires another group and one kid inspires another kid. So for Bree, you haven't seen her do any of these interviews and stuff like that because she's somebody that she's most helpful at the front lines, talking to these seniors and doing stuff. And I'm the one that has the loud mouth out here ringing the alarm bell saying, if I can inspire just one more person to do what we do and they can inspire one person, we can keep this growing. So
you're so fucking inspiring, man. I'm so grateful again to have you in my life, man. You inspire me every day. And, thank you, man. And, thank you for all you're doing for the community, and you'll see, man, this is going to be paid to you 10 times more. Again, everybody that is watching this, I'm going to put the link, on the post as well on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Go to gelatitogo.com. You can place an order for ice cream in any of the 3 locations, or you can just donate, and help Mike and his team continue helping our community. Mike, and again, I know you personally for a long time, and I know you since we were a little kid, and I know all the struggles that you've been through, and I've always told you that I've always seen in you, the leader that you are. What would you tell any young man, any young woman out there that today they might be feeling lost, they might be feeling like, this is not, you know, they just cannot hack it anymore, and um, they don't see anything out there for them, and they feel lost. What would you say to them if you could, or what would you say to young Mike if you could?
I think that young people have the greatest anxiety right now than any other generation because we have this inclination to look to the person that's older than us or the next generation. But when crises like this happen, and you've seen it on September 11th, you've seen it, in the Vietnam War, you've seen it in different parts in American history. This is the time not to look at somebody else for leadership, but it's time for this generation to step up and be the leaders of the future, to give hope to the generations before us and after us, to say that these people are here and they have the energy and they're going to lead us into the future and they're going to lead us out of these dark times. And so I think that once the feeling of anxiety subsides, and people realize that, we are going to live, we are going to make it through it, people like us and in my generation, people like me are saying, well, now it's time to lead the future that I want. We've been talking about healthcare for everyone for hundreds of years. We've been talking about, fair pay for people for hundreds of years. I think that people have seen the way the healthcare system has been exasperated. I think people can see how vulnerable we are to something like this because we don't really take care of all the most basic needs of people in many different ways. And so I think this is our time to put our money where our mouth is, to stop complaining about it and actually start figuring out how we can, while the system is exposed, while people can see the pain and suffering that's going on, how can we be the leaders? How can we get the laws and things changed to actually benefit people? Because if we had different things in place, we could rest easy at this point. But there's so much uncertainty because, there aren't businesses that are in a position where they can pay their employees for extended period of time. The
Yeah,
government systems can't handle filing unemployments. The banks can't handle these PPP loans. And so now we need to let our anxiety flow away. We need to step up. We need to open our mouths and our wallets and our minds. And we have to say to ourselves, it's not about arguing. It's not about my values are better than your values or my opinions better than your opinion. Let's all sit at the table, but let's start sitting at the head of the table and act like we need to be at the head of the table and act like we belong there and start explaining to everyone that this is what we need to do. And it's not just for my greater good, it's for all of our greater good. So I hope that we take these lessons out of it. I mean, after 9/11, one guy decided to try to put a bomb in their shoe, and now everybody has to take their shoes off. So now we have millions of people that are going to potentially be infected. So we have a million different reasons why we need to step up. And so this is our opportunity. This is our time to shine. And I think Mark Cuban said it best. What we do during this time is going to define us for generations to come. And we
true.
need to take this moment to do it.
That's true. Okay, so one more question. You were gonna mix this banana gelato a few days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't been out of my house, and I'm planning on leaving my house today. Do you still have any left, or you
I
know?
actually didn't make it yet. It's in my pasteurizer. So,
Okay,
over the years I've upgraded. So I've gotten nice tools and gadgets to play with. So it's been aging for 2 days, but I actually
nice.
made it sugar-free with stevia.
Wow. Okay.
If people that don't know the background to the story, we went to the soup kitchen and Whole Foods donated a whole shitload of bananas, which was great, but they were all close to spoiling or soft or mushy or whatever. And so I said, you know what, we can't give these to seniors, but what we can do is make gelato. So I made this sugar-free base for them, and we're going to pack it all out. And all the
Nice.
seniors that we can hit this weekend will get some of it for Easter. We just wanted to give them some kind of a treat to look forward to. But if you come by or you call
That's
us,
so
you're more than
sweet.
welcome to have some.
Well, what is your favorite gelato flavor?
Nochola. I mean, Nochola,
My
pistachio,
friend.
and I just want to just mention quickly too, we have skin in the game, meaning that my aunt passed away in Italy a week ago. She actually passed away feeding a family that had developed symptoms of COVID-19. She was 102 years old, but she remembered back in World War II in Italy, she hid. She hid Jews inside of her house during everything that was going on, and she
Yeah,
helped feed the Jewish people in the area. And so she said to herself, just because I'm 102 now doesn't mean that my spirit is going to be dampened. I'm going to continue doing what I do, and that's feeding people. And so when my grandmother called me the other day because she saw these wonderful articles, my grandmother just kind of brushed it off and, didn't really think much of me feeding people and doing this. And she said, I would be more surprised if you weren't doing it, because my mother did it and her mother did it and your aunt
It's in
did
your
it.
blood.
And so you've come from generations of women that have done it before. And this is what our passion is feeding the people. And I just wanted to also share that it actually impacted, one of our supervisors in Montclair got a call yesterday that her grandfather had passed away from COVID-19. So, when we sit there and we put these policies out and we do everything that's going on, I know that there's not a majority, but a portion of customers that may be upset with our policies. We've actually told our customers that they're probably not going to be allowed in the store until June, maybe in June. But we're trying to save them from themselves, and we have skin in the game. We have people that have been impacted by it. So we want to make sure that we do it the right way.
Yeah, appreciate it. And once again, thanks for being with us. Again, gelatitogo.com. They have gelati stores in Montclair, Caldwell, and Randolph. And Mike, thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.